Okay. Welcome to but is it JoJo Stupid? And look, I'm rushing this, but like, I am way too excited to talk about what I'm about to talk about. This is insane. Oh, I'm so glad I fucking remembered this and decided to start it again. Okay, look, this is a show where I talk about insane bullshit, right? This is what I do. This is what you're here for. You're here to listen to me blather on about insane, completely bad shit, crap. And then me telling you how good it is because it's crazy, you know? So we got our system that's literally based on how sensible the narrative is to how completely insane this narrative is, at which point we call that JoJo stupid. But this is so close, but just not there yet. Alright, look, what am I talking about? Well, I mean, honestly, if you're watching this, then you already, or listening to this, and you already know, because the title's out there. But either way, I'll throw this out there. Sekkou, Sekkou, Sekkou. Sekkou. Yeah, we're talking about Sekkou boys, which, if we don't know what that is, strap the fuck in. Okay, so Sekko Boys is an anime. It ran from January 8th, 2016 to March 25th, 2016, and it ran for 12 episodes. Now, anime generally run for 20 something minutes, like 24 to 26. Other ones are a little bit shorter. They run maybe an average of 10 to 15 minutes. I've seen some really short ones like Nyango Days, which ran like 3 minutes per bit. Sekko Boys is also on the shorter end of things. It runs 7 minutes per episode, and there's 12 episodes. But let me tell you that there is a lot for us to get into. So, what is Sekko Boys? Well, Sekko is the Japanese word for gypsum, and it also defines a kind of statue and or bust that we are more familiar with vis-a-vis marble. Why is there a show called Marble or Gypsum Boys? Well, that's because this is a show about an idol group that is made up of busts of figures. Now, I know what you're thinking. Busts? You mean like the statues? Correct. The statues that are just the head and the chest? You know, those statues? We're talking about statues that form a male idol group. So they sing. They can't dance. They're statues. Although I'm not entirely sure if they can or can't move. There's a lot of weird spaces in between where maybe they can, but most of the time they can't because their manager has to move them around. Okay, look, Sekko Boys is a thing. Okay, look, there's fuck. So there's a girl, right? Her name is Miki Ishimoto. She's a sweet girl. She's adorable. I really like her. I love her hairstyle. It's all frizzy and shaped. And she's a fun girl. She's from Fukuoka, and sometimes she talks with a bit of an accent. She's moved to the big city. She had originally gone to art school, and in art school they kept making her draw statues, and she was like, I fucking hate this. And she kept drawing statues and statues and statues, and eventually she got mad, so she quit art school and decided to get involved in the music industry. Because she was like, you know what? There's other industries out there that allow me to experience art in more refined and experienced forms that don't require me to have to deal with fucking statues. And they go, ah, yes, Ishimoto. She goes into the office after getting hired, and they go, oh, yeah, Ishimoto, we have you as a manager. She goes, oh, shit, I'm already going to start managing talent? They go, yeah, we have some real up-and-coming idols. And at which point she goes, I'm going to be an idol manager. Oh, that's so cool. There's so many, like, cool people. I get to, like, smoke a cigarette and have a drink and, like, a cool bandana and go back to my class with all those fucking losers where they're like freelancers and like dropouts and like, wow, Ishimoto-san, you did so good. She just like smoke and go like, yeah, well, the industry's tough. And she goes, this is gonna be awesome. She hears a voice, and the boss says, you four, introduce yourselves. And she turns around, and it's fucking four busts. They're busts on a cart, at which point they introduce themselves. So here's the thing. The busts are real. They're like real pictures. They seem to just be pictures of busts that have been edited in, and they're pictures of real statues. Really important statues, too. And based on the way they talk, there's an implication that the figures after which these statues were modeled now live inside of these statues. So whether or not it's ghosts, I'm not entirely sure, but here's what's up. So, I'm a man of God, and believe it or not, a dragon slayer. I am the leader and center, Saint Giorgio, the holy soldier. Okay, so Saint George, the Saint George of Lydda, one of the 14 holy helpers, killed for not recanting his Christian beliefs to the fucking Romans. He's been venerated since the 5th century. His ballads, medieval ballads written about him. Fucking, he's voiced by Tomokazu Sugita, like one of the most famous voice actors ever. Oh fuck, fuck me. It's literally Saint George. It's Saint George in a bust, and he's talking to you like he's gonna fucking lead this idol group. Oh fuck. Oh jeez. Okay, we're starting there. We're starting there. We're starting there. Okay, we're starting there. And now we have live for love, die for war. I am the rambunctious god. Mars, soldier devoted to love. So that's the god Mars. That's the god Mars, the Roman god, Ares, in Greek mythology. God of War slept with his sister Aphrodite, or Venus, as it were, in the Roman pantheon. Fuck you. He's voiced by Daisuke Ono. Yeah, Daisuke Ono's here. He's here. He's getting paid. He's getting his time. He's spending his time as the Roman god Mars. Then we have business, music, gambling. I'm drowning in talent. I'm Hermes, the genius, fine-skinned multi-talent. Yeah, fuck you. That's literally Hermes, the Greek god of liars and tricksters and medicine and so many other things. Also, they mentioned the Hermetic principles in Hermes Trismegistus like later, but hey, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. How much do you know about the Hermetic principle of existence and the layers upon layers of the tree of life, and at which point where they all converge and connect? This is a lot of bullshit. I know. I know. I know. You weren't ready for this. And my personal favorite, just because of how insane this is, perfect face and perfect upbringing. History's top celebrity. Original top celebrity. Medici. Historical celebrity Medici. It's a bust of a Medici. So here's the thing: if you're not aware, the Medici family is one of the most prominent families in Italian history because they were immensely rich bankers, and two of their family members became fucking popes. Yeah. Yeah, they were the most prominent bankers and like resplendent amount of wealth. Also, these busts are based on real statues, like I said. So the statue of Saint Giorgio, or Saint George, is the one by Donatello. Famed Renaissance artist Donatello, fuck you. The one of Mars is Ares Borghese, which is apparently as old as the 1st century AD. So, fuck you. And the bust of Hermes is a little snippet, although we see the full body later. I'll explain that. You give me a fucking second. It's a little snippet of the statue of Hermes and the infant Dionysus, but Praxiteles, which is also old as crazy fucking shit. Like, it's insanely old. It's an Olympia. There's a lot of fucking... Okay, fine. So back to Medici. The Medici statue is based on Giuliano de' Medici by Michelangelo. Giuliano de' Medici was assassinated. He was also cousins with Clement VII. I can't. Oh, fuck me. How do you people feel about this? How do you accept this? How do you understand? This is where we're starting. We're starting here. This is what's going on. All right, they're a bust with the spirit of antiquated people, and there's more. Oh, there's more going on. I'm not done. But the point is, we're starting here, and they're idols, so they're singing pop music for the Japanese youth. All the girls get in on Sekkou boys. Well, they just introduced themselves, and in the second episode, they get a job at on a shitty daytime show. At which point, they meet another idol, Mira Hanayashi. She's an idol. She's popular. People like her. I'm pretty sure she's Kiari Piamu, but I guess she's not. I don't know. She looks a lot like her. And then, so it's just idol hijinks. It's like, but it's like real idol stuff. It's like, oh, hey, we got a job. We need to take you to this place at this time. It's like, oh, hey, could I get my really fancy drink? This is all I could get you. This isn't what I ordered. Like, it's prima donna shit. But they're busts. They're still like statues. I'm 100% not fucking with you. They're just statues. They talk, but their lips don't move. They can't move around. This is why their previous manager has strained his back 7 times. The current manager, Miki Ishimoto, is super used to carrying stuff. I guess I don't know. She seems to be like tough, you know. I'm not entirely sure where the fuck they decided this, but hey, she's here. She's in now, and I love her for it. I respect her. She's at first she's a little like nervous around them, but the more she's with them, the more she starts acting like their mom, which is admirable because really they're overgrown children, despite being busts. I'm gonna reiterate that they're busts consistently because I can't get over the fact that they're busts. Okay. So Medici gets a job separate from the group, at which point the rest of the group is very upset. But what are you gonna do? It's an acting gig. And when they're reading through the script, Medici for a minute goes like, "Oh, I'm an artist," and you're like, "No, no, no, the artist has a wife." She's like, "I'm the wife," and he goes, "No, no, you're not understanding." It's like, the wife is about to get murdered by the husband. It's a very risky domestic violence thing. It's on a cop show, cop drama called Buddy, apparently. So he goes like, "Wait, so I'm the man's mistress?" And it's a lot of pictures of the bust wearing wig and makeup or the wig and clothes, and he's like, "No," and it turns out that his gig is to play the murder weapon. So the artist is like kills his wife with the bust of Medici. He's working on it, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. At which point everyone's fucking like mad because they're like, "Man, fuck you, Medici. You don't deserve this job. You prima donna pretty boy. You bullshit." And he's like, "Man, fuck you guys." And then they read the script about the show Medici got on. And they go like, "Oh, he's not even actually acting. Oh, well, let's not make fun of him when he gets back." He gets back, and they go like, and they watch the episode. And at one point Medici gets super hype. He's like, "Wait, wait, there's my scene. There's my scene. There. Look at that." I turned my head away. See that? I'm showing remorse and like resentment and like guilt for being part of this murder. I think that's like the best work I've ever done. At which point, Ishimoto gets a phone call, and she goes like, "Hey, he said you were great. He wants to work again." And he goes like, "Of course." Oh my god, I might get an Oscar. And the other guys just have to sit there and go like, "Man, fuck, this is fucking dumb. This is fucking dumb." I I mean, yeah, that's happened sometimes in idol groups. Like one person gets work separate from the group, and you're a little worried about what that means for the rest of the group. And you know what? That's real idol shit. That's real stuff. I am amazed this is happening with busts. Okay, these are busts. Also, Giorgio has a huge crush on Hanayashi. Anyway, there they have to go and do a live appearance. At which point, like, Ishimoto takes them, and it doesn't go super well. Because there's... Okay, look, as it turns out, they're not the only busts that exist, or statues, I guess, that are alive. Because there's a part where they run into a bunch of statues of Kanon. Like the thousand hand Buddha, the Bodhisattva of animals and peace. And, oh no, not peace, mercy. Yeah, the Bodhisattva statue. And it's a joke on AKB48. I'm like 90% sure it's a joke on AKB48 because they have a name of a subunit of AKB. It's like, that's such a specific fucking joke. Is Sanju Sanga Hashiritai. So like, Hashiri is like Watari Roka Hashiritai 7, which is a subgroup of AKB47, and then the Sanju-san again is like about the Hall of the Lotus King, which I think is what they call it in English, but it literally just means like 30 like it literally means like 33 sen, which is a measurement of length in like antiquated Japanese times, of a hall where they just have a shit ton of statues of Kanon and stuff. So like there's a bunch of them. They're just standing together, and it's like, oh yeah, also on this show we have fucking Sanjo Sangen Hashiritai, and then like he puts the mic over, and the Sekkou boys are like, fuck, we're not gonna have the time to sing on this show, are we? And Mira gets to go before them, so like, how the fuck are you gonna deal with this? What's happening? Oh boy. So, in the end, the curtains get closed on them because, limited airtime. What are you gonna do? It's a live show. They also do a live meetup, at which point Giorgio fucks it up for everybody because he's a bust of Saint George, and apparently he's the bust of Saint George at the moment in which he was supposed to be fighting the dragon, as the myth entails, which is why he has like a very angry, aggressive face. So when he's trying to talk to the crowd, he makes some puns about being Saint George and like fighting a dragon, and he doesn't shut the fuck up. And I mean, like, nobody really wanted to hear it. And it went fucking bad. At which point he gets dunked on through social media. And okay, so here's the thing: there's a montage of him walking around town to demonstrate how people find his face to be very unpleasant. But in order for him to walk around town, that implies that someone is with him, right? Because the reason their manager has a strained back is because he lifted them up to take them everywhere. The reason Nikki is now like getting used to this is because she has to pick them up and drive them to places. But this is a montage of Giorgio walking around town. At least that's what it seems to be, because it's like it'll show him like there's a child crying, and it goes up to the child and then the kid cries, and it cuts to him going up to an old lady and then saying, ma'am, are you okay? Do you need help? And she runs away, murderer, and getting barked at by dogs. And then it shows him in his house, drunk and with a beard. So the bust A grew stubble, and B was capable of moving around with nobody's assistance. I'm not sure how the fuck that works. I'm not like the setup was, hey, we need someone to help take them around and get them stuff. Now, fuck that. George can walk around town when he's alone. I don't understand. What are you doing, Sekkou boys? What was the point? Well, fuck it. Whatever. More importantly, George does the commercial for indigestion medicine and everybody loves him. I go, yeah, I get that face. That face is a man of indigestion. I get it. It works. Yeah. All about the indigestion medicine now. Everyone's in. They went on a TV show with a producer called Setsuko. It's like Setsuko's Tea House or something like that. But the point is, the lady talks fast and she cuts people the fuck down immediately. Also voiced by Kobayashi, so I immediately loved her. I recognize that woman's weird, goofy voice anywhere. So they look at each other the day before. They're like having the conversation. All right, who's gonna talk to Setsuko? It's like, look, what? Why is this a thing? It was like, oh, you don't know? You don't know? Ishii. That's what Mars calls Ishimoto. And he's like, you don't know Ishii? She's the comedian killer. She verbally tears apart anyone who tries to talk. Like, that woman controls the conversation. She's a talk show host. You know, she should have some. She should be able to give you a room full comic who has ever successfully beat Setsuko at the talking game. So which one of us is gonna do her? At which point they all vote for Mars, because like, Mars, you're a warrior, you're a fighter, you could do this. And he's like, come on, you guys, that's not. Hermes is a genius. He's like, yeah, but I'm not great at like competing. Fucking cowards. They push Mars to the front, and then there's points where like Setsuko goes, so you're the god of war, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, right. I also heard that you've had lots of women, right? And he's like, well, I mean, you know, like, yeah, you probably don't stay faithful for very long. And at which point, one of the guys, in an attempt to back him up, says he's very, you know, strict, or like, I guess, dedicated. You know, like, dedicated in what way? And I can't remember who it was. I think it was Giorgio, but Giorgio just immediately goes, every time he says he's gonna kill somebody, he totally does it. And and Setsuko goes, oh, wow. And then Medici goes, yeah, and there was that time he basically stalked a girl. She was like, Mars, did you stalk a girl? I mean, like, sort of. I was just really into it. It's not. The fuck is happening? How does a bus stalk a girl? What is. He can't move. Or can he? Like, Ishii picks him up at his apartment, and his apartment implies that he is able to move around. There's stuff lying about. Also, after getting blown up live on stream on this fucking TV show, he gets a phone call. He answers the phone, and it's clearly a statue of Athena. It's a shadow of a statue of Athena, but it's clearly the statue of Athena that's like by the Parthenon, the one with the spear. And she goes like, man, what's up with you, little brother? You're such a mess. My God, you got blown the fuck up. Everyone on Olympus is talking about it. Dad is embarrassed. Dad is super embarrassed. And he drops the phone, and the phone says Athena Nechan. So, how'd he hold up the phone? You know what? Fuck it. Because Ishii wasn't holding the phone. She's driving. They're sitting in the back. I don't... Fuck it. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. Hermes has a pyramid scam. He's selling a screw. He says, you know what this is? And the guy goes like, Trismegistus. He's like, yep, Trismegistus. For those of you who don't know, Hermes Trismegistus is supposed to mean 3 times as good as Hermes, which is the the supposed author of a book that is teaches the principles of Hermeticism, which is like a it's a not magic thing that has the three parts of the wisdom of the universe: alchemy, astrology, theurgy, like the ability of the mind, changing shit, studying the stars. Crazy bullshit, alright? Hermes Trismegistus is like said to be a bunch of different things in a bunch of different cultures. Like in the Islamic tradition, they say that he's the guy who built the pyramids of Giza. Like, what the fuck? I don't. But they call him Idris, but it's referring to the way in which they would say Hermes Trismegistus. So, fuck you, fuck me, and fuck you that the screw was called Trismegistus. And then he says, right, so with this, you can get all kinds of things. What are the three things people want in life? Money, love, health. Trismegistus can give you all of those things and more. And Ishimoto was scoping him out because she thought, oh, he asked me to leave him outside of his apartment instead of inside. And she sees a woman go into into this building, and then she sees more women go into his building, and one of them says, and I quote, "Oh, is this your first time? It's okay. Hermes is very gentle to beginners." What? She took Medici with her because Medici's the lightest and it's easiest to carry him. So they go up and they see a bunch of people. They go, "Is this a party?" Then they see a massive statue of Hermes. At which point they go, "Wait, what? What is happening? How is this? I thought he was a bust. How is he a big statue? Also, he has a baby on his arm." Medici goes, "Did Hermes have a baby?" It's Dionysus, his brother. Also, it is in fact a tiny baby on his arm. Also, it is an alcoholic because it is Dionysus, the god of wine. So, yeah. After getting everyone to leave and convincing Hermes to stop his pyramid scheme thing, Dionysus is drinking wine. He's like, "Man, this bitch is loud." Which is like, I don't. She goes, "Why is this baby drinking?" Also, in Greek myth, Dionysus became interested in wine once Hermes introduced him to fermented grapes. So he goes like, Hermes, come on, you're the reason I drink." At which point she looks at the statue of Hermes and he goes, uh, well, like it gave him grapes and he really liked the grapes. Well, fuck you that this is happening. Fuck all of you. But you know what my favorite part is? So I mean, like at the end, there's like a whole drama thing of like, I quit. You guys treat me like trash, and then they go, "No, we need you." But more important than any of that shit, because like it's really just I feel like it's not even. Maybe it's because like I can't take them seriously with the busts, but more important than any of those fucking things, right? Is the fact that there is another idol group of busts. To a completely different idol group that apparently has been working since the 80s? Or maybe even the 70s. I'm not sure. So they're called Dandy Two Men. So the main guys are called Sekkou Boys, right? Fantastic. We love Sekkou Boys. Sekkou. Sekkou. Okay, look, listen. Dandy Two Men. Okay? They're the guys are excited. They want to go see Dandy Two Men. They're like, "Oh man, I love Dandy Two Men. I've always loved Dandy Two Men." Oh, Mori-san is like writing and directing, and he's also an idol. Like, I want to grow up to be that multi-talented. Like, yeah, well, Brutus is great. Bruno. Bruno is great. He runs a barbecue shop. Haven't you ever eaten? He's like, "Yeah, but I'm a Morty fanboy." And it's like, what? And Ishimoto's just like, "Okay, well, I'm taking these guys to go see Dandy Two Men. They're really excited." They got there. Guess who's there? Mira. Mira loves the Sekkou Boys. Mira loves Dandy Two Men. She goes, "Oh, wow, you guys are fan of Dandy Two Men?" And they go like, "Yeah, who doesn't love Dandy Two Men? They're a huge inspiration to us." And she goes, "Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you guys have the same aura and like vibe going on. I like it." Okay, cool. So, they have a bit of an argument about their places in the team, but pretty normal stuff for idol groups. Some people want to be center. Some people, they're not sure about where they're at or whether or not they would totally want to work with everybody. Everybody loves talking about how Mars is way too angry for his own good. Call him, and they complain about the fact that Mars and Medici have the same haircut, which I don't know if you could do anything about that. They're busts. Who knows? I don't fucking know. Who knows? I don't actually understand how these busts truly work. Which I'll bring a point to that later. But okay, so I'm pretty sure the busts are the spirits of the people that are dead because of the way they talk and stuff, and the way they talk about each other and describe each other. So, an announcer, well, you hear the Dandy Two Men show starts, at which point you hear a voice say, I wish to write your story. And the announcer says, Brutus? The crowd says, Et tu! And then he goes, I'm not that Brutus. And then the little thing goes down that says love on it, and it splits open. They go, Dandy! And then they do their introductions, because it's Dandy Two Men, and they're amazing. They're artists. They're literal fucking artists because they're busts. Okay, it's a bust of Moliere. Do you know who Moliere is? He's a writer. He's a playwright. He wrote the opera Don Juan. He wrote School for Wives, Tartuffe. Don Juan is one of the most important operas in like opera tradition. Okay, that's fucking amazing. Tartuffe was banned by the church because they're like, this shit is promoting immoral values. That is some wild shit. Okay, okay. So it's Moliere, and he says, playing hide and seek with pathos, unexpected king of comedy, Moliere. And you know what Brutus says? My chiseled look. That's how I roll. Man of conviction. Brutus. And you know who that is? That's Brutus the Younger, as in the guy who killed Caesar. As in literally et tu Brutus. When he said I'm not that Brutus, he was wrong because he literally is that Brutus. What the fuck you want me to say? Also, Moliere is voiced by Takahito Koyasu. Takahito Koyasu is a lot of fucking people. Fucking Dio on JoJo. He's the White Comet Ryusuke from Initial D. Okay? He's Bobobo. He's a lot of things. I will always personally remember the one bit part as the human form of Kochan the Bat and Rosario to Vampire Season 2. But that's for me, because I love that song. Yakuman Jetem. Like, I really love that song. But that's not here nor there. The point is, he plays Moliere, or a bust of Moliere, with the spirit of Moliere, because apparently he's still writing for TV shows and shit. Okay, you know who voices Brutus? You know who voices Brutus? Kenji Fujiwara. Now, maybe you don't know who that is, but I'm gonna throw some shit out here. Maze Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist. Hiroshi, the dad of Shinchan from Crayon Shinchan. He's Tatsuya Kimura from Ippo. So, those are all really big things. Fuck you! Brutus and Moliere are here. And they're Dandy Two Men, and then they start their music. At which point the Ishii just goes, I wasn't fucking ready for this. What? What is happening? Why am I, what? What? We're here. Get in. In the world of Sekkou. You know what's more amazing to me? That apparently these have existed for a while because there's a crowd loaded with older women that all go, too. Like they're hype. They're hype about Dandy Two Men. And fine, I'll admit, most of the fans for male idols are women. Yes, my point is, if this has been going for years, decades, how the hell does Ishimoto not ever know where any of this came from? Why is she surprised that the busts can talk when there's a idol group of Kanon statues and a old idol group of more busts of Moliere and fucking Brutus the Younger? You could argue she lives in a really rural part of Fukuoka, based on what I looked at. It's Yanagawa. Yanagawa's not that rural, I don't think, but she lives like next to a tiny river, and it's like mostly grass and shit. It's like they still have to do yard work, so I'm not entirely sure. By the way, her accent is adorable. I love her. I really do like her. She is super cute, and I love the passion that she gives to her job now that she's in, and they're basically her children. Okay, you know what? Now that we're done talking about Dandy Two Men, I gotta talk about something else. Idol scandals. Are you ready for idol scandals? Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you understand what that means? Well, here's the thing about idols. You gotta understand. They're basically ideas. They're not really people. They're people insofar that they are human beings, but as far as what they represent, idols aren't people. Idols are figures. Idols are ideas, alright? Idols can't go out with anybody because they have to remain untethered. They have to remain unfretted so that their fans and all those other people can fantasize about, oh man, what if she liked me, and all types of other shit. Okay, idols can't date. Idols can't smoke. Idols can't drink. Idols can't do any of that shit. and at least not in public. If you do it in private and no one really knows, I guess, but you're running a risk because there's always paparazzo like looking for you and trying to take pictures of you, making sure catching you doing messed up shit. All right. Like, oh, look, this guy was caught with a girl. Are they having sex? That man's career is now destroyed, okay? That's what happens. And you know what's amazing about Sekkou boys? Can you guess? Can you guess what's amazing about Sekkou boys? Because they're idols? They have idol problems, right? So guess what? There is a fucking dating scandal in Sekkou boys. So they're good friends with Mita, right? Giorgio has a huge crush on her. He's always asking Ishimoto if she got her number. People think it's a joke. It turns out Giorgio is incredibly serious because he has a huge crush on Mita. And you guess what? There's a bit where Mita gets a package from a box that says art supplies, and she opens it and it's Mars. She's going on a date with Mars all day. I don't understand how this works. I don't really understand how she does this. I feel that she's carrying him, but the scenes don't imply that she's carrying him. It seems like they're just walking out and about. They're at the park. They're jumping for joy. Blah 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 blah. And a guy followed them and took pictures. At which point they get back to the company. And the company goes, Ishimoto goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you understand how stupid you are? This is awful. What are you doing? You fucked up, Mars. My god, we're ruined. No, holy shit. The Sekkou boy, why didn't you think about anything besides yourself? And he's like, we didn't even do anything. We just hung out all day. And I mean, she's the one who brought me over. You don't understand. This could ruin all of our careers. Why didn't you think? And like, oh man, real ass idol romance scandal. You know what? The boss is gonna have to go and talk with Mita's management tonight, and we're gonna see how this goes. We're gonna see what we can do, because otherwise, Sekkou boys are done. You know what happens? Giorgio, sorta. I'm not sure how to put this. Okay. Giorgio trades sex for the for the ability to erase the scandal. I guess I'm not even sure if it was sex. I don't know if you can fuck a bust. Look, here's the thing. Everyone is sitting at the group, and then the boss and Giorgio go have the conversation with Mita's management. Giorgio, because he's the center, and the boss, because he's the boss, right? Okay, cool. Giorgio's sitting at a bar, drinking. Again, don't know how he got to the bar. He's there. He's sitting. He's drinking. Then a woman, an older woman, you can tell by her voice, significantly older woman, comes and sits down and says, "Hey, so I heard you were having a problem with that Mira scandal." And he's like, "Yeah. As well, there's lots of ways to go about it. What would you do? I mean, you could throw a scandal. You could do a red press release. You could pin it entirely on her. I mean, she did bring him over. Or, you could bury it under other things. Just pay them off or something." And Georgia goes, She goes, "I get it. You're a man of God. A holy soldier. Seems really dirty, doesn't it?" And he goes, "Vice and virtue are all but human." She goes, "Okay." She goes, I can do all of those things. Put a story, pay him off, all. But it's going to be on you." And she leaves him a little key. And it's like, oh, that's the key to her room. Oh, she's asking for sex in exchange for... What? It's a bust. How is this happening? But that's also a thing some people do. Some people have gotten dead to do some really gross shit, like blowjobs to disgusting producers to keep going. Like it's a disgust. The entertainment industry is fucking awful sometimes. So, although most industries are awful. So okay, the point is. It cuts to I don't know how. It goes back to the guys and they're like, "Oh man, I hope we're okay." Yeah, the busts are all at Brutus's barbecue place, and they're all eating like Hermes, Medici, Molieri, Brutus. The fucking Mars is paying for all the food. Okay. So then it cuts to the boss going, "Yeah, they just they said." The person who told us about blackmailing us just gave up. I'm like, I wonder what happened. Cut to Giorgio. opening a door. I don't know how he did it. He opened the door, and then it's the woman lying under sheets, very obviously in the nude. And she sort of like pulls back the sheets a bit so you can see her legs. She's like, "Oh, good evening." Jojo just steps in, and the door closes behind him. And then we cut later to what is the woman smoking with her back, and she goes, "Do you regret it?" And Giorgio's on his side, crying, sobbing. I don't, I don't understand. I don't understand if they had sex or not, presumably, but you don't really know. And then after the credits, it shows her cleaning him with a little Q-tip, a cotton swab. Q-tip is a brand name, don't want brand name association to really ruin this. But the point is, he's cleaning under him when he has kiss marks on him, and he's crying. And she's like, "You're so dirty under your ear. Look at this ridge. Look at how much black there is." And then he's like, "Stop. I don't. Was that what they did, or did she fuck him? I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what happened, or whether this is after, or this is what happened during. I don't know. I don't know, Sekkou boys. What actually happened? It doesn't matter, because the scandal's over now, and Georgie took one for the team. Thank you, St. Giorgio. You truly are a saint. I... Fuck me. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, cool. And then there's, like I said, fucking Ishimoto gets shit on by the guys because they need work. They need a new song, and they ask around for producers, and Mira gets them a producer after Ishimoto tried to get them her old friend from high school, and they just made fun of her. They were like, "Yeah, I wish I had a manager like this lady. She's so hot and great. Yeah, she's like our mom." She leaves the Fukuoka. She goes to her old room. Has memories of high school where like an art teacher said, "If you ever have a problem, ask Agrippa," and it's a fucking bust. And you think, "Oh, hey, I guess maybe that was the first bust she ever interacted with, and they didn't talk. So why would she assume that all busts talk?" The guys show up. They get their manager with strained back, wearing a giant, massive weightlifting belt. Like he has a gold block on it. They travel through a little river that runs by our house and go like, "Ishi, we need you. You're our manager. You have made me quit the fucking horrible scam I was doing. I was so wrong." Everybody's doing their bit, and then from behind her, she hears gripping. Turns. The bust of Agrippa that she kept as a present from her teacher was there, and he talks. And, he says, "Get it? Because I'm Agrippa." And she just freaks the fuck out and goes like, now you look angry, ha ha ha. Okay, look, that's a fucking statue of Marcus Upicanius Agrippa, okay? Do you know who that is? That's the grandfather of Caligula. That's also the ancestor of the last known emperor, Nero, before Rome fell apart and became a completely different thing. So, I mean, depending on when you consider it, stop being Rome. Nero is always recognized as the last goddamn emperor, okay? He fought the Battle of Actium against Cleopatra and Mark Antony, and it was a lot of those battles, along with a couple of other many important fucking fights that led for Octavianus, Gaius Octavianus Drunius, to become the first emperor, Augustus Caesar. Agrippa is a major factor in, Roman history. And here, he shows up for 2 minutes to make a pun about his name. Fuck. What is this? What are you, Sekkou boys? I don't understand. Where are we? Where are we going? Is anything happening? Fuck. Okay, last bit that, like, again, the reason I only bring this up is pretty much the entirety of the show. But the reason I'm bringing this one up is because it comes to an idea that I'm not entirely sure about, which calls into question whether or not these are spirits or what's happening. Okay? Because up until now, I've just accepted that maybe these are the ghosts of the dead people inside of the bus. There's never an explanation. It's just kind of there, okay? But then this kind of throws that idea out of whack. Also, the fact that they can't move. Because sometimes they're supposed to move. They just move. George has a walking montage. What is that? What is that? Okay, look. So, they get back. Everybody has a party to welcome back Ishimoto. Because they're like, "Yay, Ishimoto's back. I love you, Mom. Not Mom." So, everybody gets drunk. And then when they wake up, I don't know how the bus got drunk, but the bus got drunk. They also eat, so I don't know how they eat. The bus got drunk, and then when she wakes up, Medici's been kidnapped. And it turns out he was kidnapped by a fan of Mira. Because he's like, the Sekkou boys don't belong around her. She's a princess, blah. And then when they capture him, he goes like, ha ha, you'll never find him now. I hit him good. And so it turns out Medici's in a warehouse. But what's amazing about this is the lights come on, and there's 1,000 busts of Medici, and they are all speaking with the same voice. So what it implies is that somehow he's able to completely copy and mimic the Medici ghost and bust. I'm not sure what the fuck it is. All right, this is the part where I'm confused because, well, I'll be honest, I'm confused in a lot of parts, like the fact that the busts can't even talk. So I explained it away in my head that the busts have ghosts inside of them. All right, because if the busts have ghosts inside of them, then you can assume that the spirit of the person who is dead is inhabiting the bust, and therefore we can work under the assumption that these busts are, in fact, those dead people. Sure, some of them are gods, but we can just go with the fact that they're gods, and we can say whatever. Now, that was a little weird when I got to Kanon, right? The goddess of mercy and pets, the Bodhisattva, because there's hundreds of statues of Kanon all over the country. There, of the 88 temples that people do a pilgrimage on, 29 of them are dedicated to Kanon, and they all have a Kanon statue. And Sanju Sangen, like, also has a bunch of statues of Kanon, with her 1,000 arms. So all of them spoke with the same voice. Well, they sort of mumbled over each other, but they had one main one because, you know, when you have groups of tons of girls, you usually just pick one and say, "Hey, you're gonna do the talking." Okay, but so all of them spoke with the same voice, and that implies that they are all in fact the same god. Now, I could surmise to myself, there's so many interpretations of Kanon, like there's the Korean one, there's the Indian one, there's the Chinese one, there's the Japanese one that is called Kanon. She's a Chinese name, she's a Hindi name because, you know, she's a figure from Buddhism, and Buddhism extends far beyond Japan. So, okay, fine. Maybe we could go with that. But when you copy the bust of Medici, who is based on a fucking 100% real person, right? That is a singular person. That is a Giuliano de Medici, alright? There's no other person who is Giuliano de Medici. Also, Giuliano de Medici, that bust is made by Michelangelo. He makes a comment about it. It's like, hey, make sure you get the right side of my face. Mike was really good about that. Michelangelo. Anyway, the point is, in order to copy that, that does not imply that the ghost would be in all of them. Is it ghosts? Or is it just the fact that they exist as by that logic it put the soul of the person in it? Or maybe it's not even magic. I'm not entirely sure about that. They can't move, right? But then they can. And there's times where Hermes is just a bust, but then he goes, oh no, from another angle, and that you just see his whole body because it is the statue of Hermes and the infant Dionysus. So I don't understand. I don't understand so much about Sekkou boys. But if you can accept that we're in a world where busts are alive, then you can kind of explain away the bit about you know them being able to talk. All right, if we're going with the concept of the busts are alive, it's other than beyond the statues being alive. This is a fairly real world. Like it's just people. It's just people. It's people and the busts, and that's kind of it. And there's not much more I can really give to that. But they make the explanation at the beginning that, like, hey, they can't walk. But then later on, they give George a walking montage. I don't know what the fuck it's about. What the fuck is that about? Now, I'm pretty sure that the thing about copying Medici only fucks me up in terms of my interpretation of that they were, in fact, ghosts. But I could be super wrong, and they could just be living busts. But that doesn't fully explain why they're alive. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it, and that wasn't meant to be considered to begin with. And in it being so completely insane and varied and random bullshit, and there's so many important people here, but ultimately it's kind of attempting to be as realistic as it can be. Like, they just go to eat, they just go drink, they're just idols. They're just idols. The only exception is that they're Giuliano de Medici, St. Giorgio, Mars, and Hermes. That's the only difference. If they weren't, and also fucking Moliere and Brutus the Younger. And Agrippa. But if we ignore that they're that, then it's not as insane because it doesn't go constantly breaking its own rules. I'm only explaining this to you so that we can understand why I'm going to give it the ranking I give it, okay? Because it's really nuts. That lady had sex with a bust, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. So, okay, fine. So, with that in mind, what are we gonna give this in terms of how dumb it is? Is it as sensible as Black Dress Shoes? No, fucking no. Is it as dumb as this show? No, it's way dumber than this show, and I love it. I want more Sekkou boys. People should give more respect to Sekkou boys. You know what this gets? This gets a 9. This gets a Ryuga Gotoku. Yeah, yeah, because you have to watch this show to really understand everything the fuck I'm talking about. This is insane. I cannot. As much as I say these things, and you're like, wow, that sounds really dumb, that sounds really crazy, it does not sell as much as watching it itself. It's very short, okay? It's incredibly short. It is barely 2 hours altogether, because it's 7 times 12, my dude. Okay? Okay? It's not a very long show. You could easily knock this out in an hour and a half. As long as you don't stop in between. But fucking trust me, just watch this, okay? You need to see this. Anything that's like above a 7 is something that's worth watching as far as I'm concerned, for how completely batshit insane and crazy it is. Because there's things that aren't crazy but are good, and then there's stuff that's good because it's crazy, and that's what this show's all about. So it's not JoJo stupid, but it's very close. And I'd like to thank you for listening.